What's the creepiest thing that's ever happened to you? So, I was sitting with my friends Alex and Emma during lunch, chatting about our upcoming exams. We were all stressed out, but then the conversation took a weird turn. Our friend Rachel, who's a senior, joined us and started telling us about the legend of our university. Apparently, our university was built on top of an old hospital that burned down in the 1950s. Like 30 people died in that fire. Rachel said that ever since then, strange things have been happening on campus. Doors slam shut on their own, people hear whispers in the hallways at night, and some even claim to have seen ghosts. At first, we all thought she was joking, but then she told us about her own experience. She said she was studying late one night in the library when she saw a figure in a white coat walking towards her. She ran out of there so fast. I didn't believe it at first, but then Alex shared his own story. He said he heard footsteps outside his dorm room one night, but when he opened the door, no one was there. So after our conversation at lunch, I tried to brush it off as mere rumors. But the more I thought about it, the more I couldn't focus on my studies. I kept thinking about Rachel's story and Alex's experience. Anyway, our group project is due tomorrow, and we still had a lot of work to do. My teammates all had other commitments, so I volunteered to stay late and finish up the presentation. As the sun started setting, the campus began to empty out. I was alone in the computer lab, typing away on my laptop. Every creak of the old building made me jump. I tried to distract myself by listening to music, but then my headphones stopped working. I looked around, wondering if someone was playing a prank on me. That's when I saw it. The door to the lab slowly started closing by itself. At first, I thought it was just the wind or something, but then it stopped right before it closed completely. It was like someone was holding it open for me. I freaked out and quickly packed up my stuff. As I was leaving the lab, I heard footsteps behind me. They were light and slow, like someone was trying not to be heard. I didn't dare turn around. I just booked it out of there as fast as I could. Later, I realized I had forgotten my phone on the desk in the computer lab. I knew I had to go back for it, but my heart was racing just thinking about it. I tried to convince myself it was just my imagination playing tricks on me, but deep down, I knew something was off. I slowly made my way back to the lab, trying not to make a sound. As I approached the door, I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. I slowly turned the handle and pushed it open. The room was dark and quiet, except for the faint hum of the computers. My phone was still on the desk where I left it. I quickly grabbed it and turned to leave, but that's when I saw it. A shadow passed by the window behind me. It was tall and dark, and it seemed to move with a purpose. My heart stopped as I froze in terror. I didn't dare turn around to look out the window. I'm still trying to process what just happened. I'm writing this from the safety of my dorm room, but my heart is still racing. After I saw the shadow pass by the window, I didn't waste any time. I grabbed my stuff and hightailed it out of there as fast as I could. I didn't stop until I reached the ground floor. As I burst through the door, I saw a ghastly figure standing in front of me. It was tall and gaunt, with sunken eyes and a twisted grin. I screamed at the top of my lungs and tried to run away, but it was too fast. The figure caught up to me in an instant and wrapped its arms around me in a tight hug. I was paralyzed with fear, convinced that this was it for me. But then, something weird happened. The figure started laughing and patting me on the back. "Gotcha!" it exclaimed in a familiar voice. I looked up to see Alex's grinning face staring back at me. Rachel and Emma were standing next to him, holding their bellies in laughter. It dawned on me that they had been pranking me all along. They intentionally told me those scary stories to freak me out, and then set up this elaborate prank to scare the living daylights out of me. I was relieved that it wasn't actually a ghost, but at the same time, I was furious that they would do something so cruel. "You guys are dead," I said, trying to sound angry but failing miserably. After Alex, Rachel, and Emma revealed that they were behind the prank, I scolded them for giving me such a scare. "You guys are cruel," I said, trying to sound angry but still laughing. That shadow passing by the window trick and door opening trick really got me. But then something weird happened. They all looked at each other nervously and denied doing those things. "We didn't do that," Alex said. "We just set up the ghastly figure prank on the ground floor." I didn't believe them. I thought they were just trying to cover their tracks. So I decided to take matters into my own hands. I went to the security room and asked to review the footage from the computer lab during the time I was there. The security guard looked at me suspiciously but handed over the footage. As we watched it together, my heart started racing again. There was no one else in the lab during that time. No one had visited the lab except for me. The door didn't open by itself, and there was no shadow passing by the window. It was as if something else was there with me. I turned to leave, feeling a chill run down my spine. The security guard looked at me with a serious expression. "You know, we've had some strange occurrences in that lab before," he said quietly. I didn't want to hear it. I just wanted to get out of there and forget about tonight's events. But as I walked back to my dorm room, I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was watching me.